Alright, what's going on, friends? In this video I'm going to be showing you how to install a Saniflo upflush toilet. This project should not really be that hard. Probably the hardest part will be maybe in the beginning is doing some of the plumbing work. So you have your cold water line for the upflush and plumbing into your vent line. I'm going to try to go over as much stuff as I can of stuff that you cannot do. First, I'm going to show you all the parts that come in the box when you buy the Saniflo upflush toilet. And also in this video, I already have my vent line plumbed in and I already have my cold water line plumbed in. If you watch the video before this, I'll put a link to that down in the description. It goes over some of the stuff that I did to get this bathroom ready and to try to get some of the plumbing ready before I put this upflush toilet in. Now, if you open up your manual, all these parts are going to be in your manual. So I'm going to go over what they all are. Line up your pipe clamps. You're going to have 5 different sizes of pipe clamp. This pipe clamp is going to be for this accordion gasket that's going to hook your bowl to your macerator pump. And this little zip tie is also for that. So then you'll have a size L, M, N, O, and then the big one is the P. So when you look at your instructions, like here's the flexible line. This is your discharge line. It's going to tell you here to use size L, or this piece right here will get hooked to either your 3/4 inch or 1 inch PVC discharge line, which I'm hooking all mine to 1 inch. Now that you're going to have 2 of the M's, which are these two, 1, 2. So that's where you'll use them. So that's just to help you figure out where all the pipe clamps go. These pieces here are going to go on the bottom of your macerator pump to connect that to the floor. And these 2 little screws are for that. This here is going to mount your tank onto your toilet. This little plug and that little plug. These 2 little plugs are for both the right and left hand side in case all you're going to do is have a toilet. If you're going to have a toilet and a sink, you maybe only use one of these plugs to plug up the hole on the side of your tank. Right here. The only thing I was having trouble figuring out was, I think this smaller plug is if you're not going to vent it. This is your vent line. And this little rubber 90 is for your vent line. This is going to vent into an 1.5 inch PVC. These screws right here, these 2 longer screws are going to be for hooking down your toilet. You're also going to need, if you're hooking this into concrete, you're going to want a hammer drill. This is a hammer drill. And you're going to need a 5/16 inch masonry bit. This thing right here, this is for a 2 inch line if you're going to hook up like a tub or a shower. And this one here is for an 1.5 inch line if you're hooking up like a sink. I'm going to hook up a utility sink to mine, so I'll end up using this. And later on I am going to hook up, probably make another video of me hooking up a shower. That's about all for all them parts. And then you got your rear discharging toilet. And I also have my tank and the lid for the tank. Let me go over a couple more things that you definitely cannot do. First off, when you vent this, it has to be into a free air vent, no Studer vent. Like right here's a picture of a Studer vent. So that means the vent has to be able to let air out and let air in. And like I said, your vent line will be an 1.5 inch PVC. Another thing that you definitely cannot do, you cannot use any 90s. The only 90 you're gonna see, and I've seen that on some of the other videos, this is for my discharge. This actually is a 90. So that's the only 90 you're going to see coming out of your discharge. If you want to make a 90-degree turn, you got to use 2 45s. So you're going to connect these 2 45s like that, and that'll get you your 90. I recommend using a ball valve on your discharge. I'm going to also put this in. So pretty much right at the end of this line, I'm going to have a ball valve. That's just in case you would have to take this out later on down the road. Another thing is you're going to need a GFCI outlet. You cannot use just a regular outlet since this is going to be around water. It has to be a GFCI. Now my toilet is going to sit right in front of this. You could also take this tank and put that on, like I will be on the other side of this wall. But that tank could be on the other side of the wall. So they do make an extension piece. You can extend the discharge coming out of the back of the toilet no more than 18 inches. So that tank and all the plumbing would be like behind this wall, and it'll make it look like more like a normal bathroom. Now, I tried to do that, and my wife put a big halt to that because she said she wants to put a freezer where that tank was going to be sitting. So I wasn't allowed to do that. And you know this, you know how the saying goes, happy wife, happy life. And on your horizontal runs, so the runs that are going to be laying flat, you have to have a 1/4 inch drop per foot. So you can't be just laying straight flat. You need to have a decline on that. This can pump 15 foot up, so 15 foot vertically. I see all kinds of different things, but a lot of the guys are saying it can pump 150 foot horizontal. But that does not mean you can go 15 foot up and then 150 foot horizontal. Actually, if you look on, I don't know, it's pretty much like the first page I get on. It's going to show you right here. I mean, it looks to me like if I pump this up 3 foot, I can pump, it says 270 feet horizontal with a downgrade, 2% downgrade. And then if you pump up, like it shows you right here in the manual, pump up 6 foot, it looks like you can go 240 feet. I really have trouble believing that it will really pump that far, but that's what it says here in the manual. So for every 3 feet you pump straight up, says to subtract 30 feet off of the horizontal. So I don't know if that lines up with exactly with that chart I just showed you. Another thing I did see in the manual is it says for every 90-degree turn, which means you're using 2 of them 45s, you have to subtract 3 feet off of your distance that you can pump this. All right, now one more thing before I get to putting this together. When you're connecting your discharge to this tank, you cannot go out, which it's kind of weird how this is going to come up out and it's going to go straight. But you cannot go, they want you to go use this flexible line and they want you to go up like this. So they want you to pump up first and then horizontal. They don't want you to pump, say, 10 feet horizontal and then go up. You got to go vertical first and then take your horizontal. So go pump vertically, then pump your horizontal. And when you're pumping your horizontal, you're still going to want a little bit of a downgrade. All right, now this is how I connected my lines. Well, I have a sink in there also. So I went and just bought shark bite fittings. So if you buy a shark bite fitting and you have lines and you got to cut them and you might have a little bit of water, you do not have to worry if they're wet. So you can, that's how you could hook up your cold water line for your upflush toilet. Just a T fitting, a shark bite fitting. Just make sure you get the right size depending on what you have. Even if you have copper or if you have PEX, this will also hook into PEX line. But if you have PEX, maybe you can just do a PEX fitting. All right, now I bought a Fernco for my 1.5-inch line that goes into my vent. If you can see that good. It really doesn't matter if you can see it real good, but that's what I bought, a Fernco, because yours is probably going to be a little different than mine. But that goes into my 1.5-inch vent line that goes all the way to the roof of my house. Right there's my 1.5-inch line. All right, before you get too far and you get to this part, I'm going to tell you right now, just so you don't get confused. I opened that package up that had your screws in it. And I'm really still not sure if I'm going to use these long ones or short ones. I think they just give you 2 different sizes to pick from here. But you're going to have this little plastic cap, this little piece. But you're going to want to probably put this little piece over that little piece. And then this is going to hook your toilet down. Either you're going to use the long one or the short one, like that. So that will be connecting your toilet down. And then that will give you space to hook this little cap over it. All right, if you're using 1-inch PVC, you're going to take this piece and you're going to have to cut this end off. So the 1-inch PVC will fit in there. This is for 3/4 inch if you end up using 3/4 inch. This is how this will all get put together. That piece goes onto there, that goes onto this flexible line, and then this piece will go onto that, along with all your clamps. Let's cut this off. You gotta flip your macerator pump upside down and put these little gray foam pieces on the bottom side, and you're gonna put these pieces on the bottom side too. So, goes like that. That piece is gonna go just like that. with that little screw. Just like that. Make sure you don't put it on backwards. You could try to put it on like that, but it really doesn't match. So this is the only thing they did not seem to give you, something to screw this to the floor. That's what they're for. So I have some tap cons I might use, and then maybe I'll just try to paint the tap cons because they're blue. All right, this piece here is going to go in where your discharge goes. Just push that down in there. You can put this whichever way you want, which I want mine to go straight back, just like that. One of the clamp, I guess you could put that on beforehand if you want. Looks like that's a 9/32. You want to know the size. All right, now I'm gonna try to mark my wall because I'm gonna drill a hole through there. You definitely might be different than me. All right, this clamp is the letter L, which is the smallest clamp. These ones that are on the vent line are the letter N, which would be your third largest size. Tighten all these clamps up. When you do tighten these up, also you're going to want to try to keep them so you don't have to tear your entire toilet apart if you want to get this off. If you're using a drill, just be careful, don't over tighten them. I'm going to check them by hand. I'd be careful, don't over tighten these also because you don't want to strip these out. Now I'm going to go on the other side and get my discharge line hooked up. Now I got two of the letter M's and I have another clamp that was the letter L, which was one of the smallest ones. And like I said, I'm going to connect mine up to 1 inch. All right, that piece there is going to go on the other side of your flexible hose. That goes on there. Put a little spit down inside there. Hope this slide on because it's tight. Oh, come on, baby, it's getting hard. Looks like just trying to go straight on is the best way. There we go. Man, that's a pain to get on there. I'm gonna mount that one just like that. You gotta watch bending this. You don't want to kink it either. That's why I got this hole a little bigger than I really wanted. I'm gonna have to put a little patch around that, make it look nicer. So my wife's gonna be mad. Let's clamp this piece onto here, like that. Just make sure your clamps are on there even. You're not like, don't have it on one of these really tall ridges. That. These cutters are real nice. That on there. Some PVC cement. All right, I got my entire discharge line done. It comes up, straight up. And I use my 245s, and then this goes about 2 foot, so it drops about a ½ an inch down here because they want you to go about a ¼ inch per foot of drop. Then it goes into a 2-inch line into my 3-inch sewer. All right, I'm going to cut the end of this piece off because I'm going to hook up my sink today. I did take the other one that goes with the 2-inch, that one right there that goes with the 2-inch line, and I put that on there. You can put this cap in there if you want, but in about a week, probably about a week or two, I'm going to put my shower in. So that should be enough just to hold that until I put my hook my shower up. If you're not going to put a shower or a sink in, you might want to use them caps. These get put on with the letter O clamp. All right, I'm going to put this on, and then after this, I'm going to stick my toilet in front of here. I'm going to figure out where I got to drill my holes. And when we're putting this on, make sure you don't put it on backwards. This small side, see how that one's a little smaller there than this one? This one's got a larger side. The larger side is for this clamp. The small side is for this zip tie. The small side goes on the macerator pump. So just stretch that around there. Should stretch around there pretty easily. There. All right, then you take your zip tie. Put your zip tie on there. Seems crazy this is being held on by a zip tie, but they say there's no pressure in this thing, so make sure that's on there all the way around. So that should be good. There's no way that's going to come off there now. Now this one will go on the toilet. Now you can, like I said, you could hook this to the floor. I didn't end up hooking this to the floor because my discharge and vent are right here, and it kind of keeps this tank from really going anywhere. And then I'm going to have my, over on this side, I'll have my 1.5-inch line coming off this sink. So it's not going to go anywhere. All right, now this clamp's going to go on there. All right, I got my toilet sitting here in place, and I just sat the tank on top. It's kind of leaning back a little bit, and put the lid on it just to see if that's where I want it, because you can, even with that macerator pump back there, you could still pull this out a little bit because of that accordion flange. I think this is where I'm going to put it. I'm going to mark my holes, and then we're going to move the toilet, and I got to drill some holes here in my tile and my concrete. I took my pencil and I cut the tip off so I can go straight down. I don't know how close I got to be, but that'll make it more accurate. Move this out of my way. Definitely drilling in a crappy spot. Let me drill these holes and we'll get back. Slow and steady. Now you want your holes to be about 2¼ inches deep. All right, I got my accordion gasket on the back with the clamp tightened onto it. And then the longer bolts, just don't forget to put that other little plastic piece on with that washer. That goes on first, and then that. And like that, you stick that down in that hole. That gives you room so you can put your cap on. And this is a 3/8 inch. Let me tighten these up and we'll move on to the next step. All right, I put my little cap on there. I don't know if I put that thing on right or what, but I just stuck some silicone on the inside of that cap and stuck it on there. So that way, when that silicone dries, that shouldn't keep popping off. All we got left is the tank, and we'll see how this thing works. All right, you're gonna need these 2 little bolts with the wing nuts on them, and we'll take these wing nuts off, set them aside, set this little metal washer aside, and I'm going to put this rubber washer underneath. So set that aside. This will go down in your tank. All right, mine came with this big rubber gasket right here. Make sure that's on there in case yours is not on there. Just line her up. Make sure the little chain's not in the way. Drop your bolts down in there. I can't really show you this, but put the rubber one on first. Oh yeah. Nice to have help hold that in there. Rubber one, then the metal one, then the wing nut. It's easier if you have 3 hands. Oh, I got it. All right. I'm gonna hook this chain up. Put my lid on. Don't forget to hook up your water from your tank. Should be a 7/8 to 3/8 inch. A 7/8 to 3/8 inch. Just gonna take the one that come on your tank off. You don't need that. if you bought your own hose. This should go on here. You don't got to get too crazy on that. Once you get this all hooked up, I just recommend checking it for leaks. And if that's like something like this is leaking, just tighten it up a little bit more. But I'd rather you not over tighten it. All right, I'm gonna put a wrench on that. Let's turn this water on and see what happens. She's filling up. While it's filling up, walk around, maybe look, see if you see any leaks. I'm gonna plug it in, see what happens. I think if I remember correctly, you have to do this a couple times until it gets all the water in the macerator. Oh, there she goes. That's exciting. I'm gonna have to go check in my laundry room too. No, go ahead, try to flush it. You can flush it.
That's loud.
That right there will grind up your poop.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Awesome.
Take a crap, test it.
All right, time to put the seat on. Sit on this thing backwards. Pop these little clips up. I think I gotta loosen that up first. They don't give you directions on how to do this. Pop that down in there. Pop this one down in there. Like that. Then stick the screw in. Alright, this is how I connected my utility sink. I had to buy a S-trap kit. It came out of the bottom of my utility sink, and I also have, you may not need this. That's coming out of the back of my air conditioner, going into that. That's just normally you would use that for a dishwasher, but I happened to find out that that fits right in there. So I got an S-trap kit, and then that goes into a trap adapter, and that's going to adapt it to thread onto this piece that goes into a 90 into my 1.5" PVC. And then that goes into the bottom of my macerator. All right, there you have it. I hope this helped you out installing your Saniflo upflush toilet. Leave me a comment down below, hit that subscribe button to help support my channel, and give this video a thumbs up. God bless and have a great day.